This series of videos is a behind the scenes look at how I'm using AI to bootstrap my business. The videos serve two purposes. One, it gives me a platform to share out techniques and tools. And then the other is it gives my potential clients an opportunity to get to know me before we work together. The other day, I was working on the beginning of a pipeline to build thumbnails. I need for the YouTube stuff to take as little time as possible. I want to be able to pop in, record a 10-minute video, and then basically let the agents handle everything else, the publishing and the generation of the thumbnail and all this type of stuff. And I started to put something together the other day and I recorded it and I changed completely how it works. And that is what I'm going to show you in this video. Okay, so the starting point is that I do a screen cap um, from the recording, right? So I'm going to use this as for the thumbnail, and everything else is just done by the agents. So let's jump over to here, and let's fire up Claude, and the so uh, so you can see I have this one portrait image, and let me load skill set over here. And then I'm just going to ask it to generate the image, and I'll show you how it works. The big difference, and I'll explain along the way. So the big difference is what it does is it generates several components, and then it just composites them together. Whereas in the previous one, I really was doing it wrong. I was manipulating the image all as one layer, which really didn't work out or make sense. Let's generate a new. So we're going to do it in this folder. Oops. Oops. Let me re-grab that. In this folder, the portrait. Let's. So which way was I? So we want the. Let's use the portrait on the right portrait, because I'm pointing, because the empty space is on the left of the image. Yeah, the portrait right layout. Let's have the headline be uh, thumbnail. Trying to figure out how I want to do this. I'll explain here in a moment. Thumbnail generator script. Let's do that with 3 lines. Let's have the banner text just be, we'll just put the website on there. I think that's good. Okay, so like I said, the idea is that I can just take the screen cap. I can give this I'll even probably get to where I can paraphrase that even better. But I give it the pieces, or I give it the portrait, I give it the instructions, and right now it just generates the image. So you can see here that it tells us that which side is the subject on? The subject is on uh, the portrait. Subject is on the right. I think it might have mirrored. Okay, so it has this option for mirroring. I'm going to have to work this out. I've only used it twice prior to this, and so we might need a little back and forth on the skill set around it. But the scripts work the way we want. So it's generating the pieces right now. Let's look over here. So what it does is it's going to generate a backdrop. So this is the bottom layer of the composition. Then it's going to generate a banner, which is this lower text that exists. Then their headline is the text that goes alongside of the portrait. And then the portrait cut here is going to be it's going to be the repositioned me. And then the thumb one is the output, and it also builds an Inkscape file out of the whole thing. So now if we jump over and take a look, these are all those files, and let me open up the final image here, which is going to be the thumb one. So a new better thumbnail generator. So if you noticed when I entered thumbnail, I had put the earmuffs around it, the asterisk on either side of the word thumbnail. That's its instruction to use that as the highlight word, or to highlight it. Font style, etc., isn't perfect, but the approach is right. I need to do a bunch of work on the design. So it does the portrait cut well, right? So it cuts me out of the background, no problem. It generates a gradient for the background, and we can control the color of that a little bit. And I haven't experimented with it too much. And then it generates the banner, which is this lower piece. And again, all of these scripts take parameters, and so it'll just be a little bit of me tuning the skill that goes with these. Which one didn't I show? So we got the portrait cut. I think that was all of them. So we got the headline. And so this is the one that probably needs the most work. Part of the problem here is really just the fonts that I'm using. The website currently is using, what is this? IBM. I forget what the font is. But the font is probably more the problem than anything else. So anyway, it generates all of those, then it just layers them into a composition, and does the export to a 1280 by 720p, or 1280 by 720 image. Like I said, it also does the SVG, so that can be opened in Inkscape, and it is so then if you wanted to manipulate it by hand, you could. Anyway, so that is a quick little look at the new and improved thumbnail pipeline. I actually, I know that the design quality is not there, but the process works really, really well. I will continue to improve it. I will add flexibility. Right now, it really only understands a left and a right layout, and I probably will eventually give it the ability to, have more different types of layouts. I'll only add to these over time. But it's no longer a time pressure. I don't have to spend any time. For the time being, this will be the way that we are generating thumbnails. Okay, cool. See you in the next video.